these all property, that is align item, justify self, place item, are in the parent container, in the container, in the grid thing. All these property are placed in the grid one. Okay, but all the items like justify self, place self, and align self are inside your child. So one of the item. Okay, so suppose if I create a grid. Okay, I have created an item. Okay, let's say an example here. I have created this item. Okay, now item I have put some other div and span, and this is taking only with up to till here. Okay, then I will place inside this item D. Item D I will place in like grid area. I will place justify self this one. So if there are some more child here I have one more child, here I have one more child. None of them will get affected. And only this child property I am changing. So only this one will get particularly affected. So how we are going to change particular ones using justify self is we are directly hitting the child and telling that justify self should be taken place. It shouldn't be in the container. Justify self will only work inside the child, and same way align self will only work inside the child. These are all the children properties.
Okay.
And justify items, align items, these all are the parent properties or container properties. In the child or items, we can only have these all properties here, which we have seen either for creation purpose or justify self, place an item. These are the child. Everything else we have read, the creation of the grid, the gap property, or align item, justify item, place item, or all of these are in the container parent level. So that grid creation, the gap property, and the alignment inside the grid one should be handled by the parent, and all the inner one will be in the child. Any other doubt? Anyone else have? Okay, so that's it for the grid. Let me place a revise again the previous topic, the how grid is different from flex. So flex, we don't create an explicit system for the parent. The flex is like you have created one div, inside one div, and all the div we are just either working with the properties, whatever, justify self or any align self or anything. Okay, but in a grid we need to create a grid structure. That is like I want you have to explicitly say that I want a 7 by 6 column system, also column row system, and then you work inside the child property and you will place it anywhere. Okay, second thing in the flex is there, we all the items are continuous. Okay, in the grid also all the items are continuous, but the grid you can place it anywhere. Like suppose if I have a grid system, let me go back to first second slide. So here I have 4 items inside. I can place the 4 item at a 4 different levels. So maybe this one was the first item, this one was the second, this one was the third, and this one was the fourth. I can place anywhere at any place. Okay, but flex it will be continuous. You can use order to modify that, but you can't place anything anywhere at your own pace.
Like that will be sequential.
Sequential unless and until you modify it with the order thing. Okay, it will by default it is sequential. Here by default there is no proper sequence. You can add anywhere. But one more thing is for adding that anywhere, you need to write code for each one of them. Like here, there in the flex we write order. Here we write where the column will start, where column will end, where row will start, where row will end. Similarly for this one and this one, like we can add it accordingly how we want.
Like when we use like a call hyphen 12, call hyphen 9.
So that is basically a class, and the class would be using this property that there should be a column. 12 column grid should be created, 9 column grid should be created.
Ultimately, it is creating a grid, right?
It is creating a grid, and inside that, see, first you write call 12, and inside that write call 9 and call 3. So it is telling that 9 part should be taken by this one, 3 part would be taken by that one. So that's how grid is working. Okay, and there most probably the concept of implicit grid doesn't work like most probably because they have already aligned into 12 items. Okay, so implicit grid is not a concept there, but when you're studying the grid concept, this implicit grid plays a major concept. Like yesterday I given the example of Akshit and Deepak, like how the things can go off the road. So like that for understanding this thing is there, and that's it. Any other one? Anyone has any other doubt? Okay, one more thing is that whenever in the grid we work in the fractional unit, it is preferable you don't use pixel unless and until it's very required. Okay, even the image also you can put like if you put inside a one grid cell, it is you put either with 100% or flex 1, like that, instead of putting it in the pixel, that this should be dark pixel, because the grid column can change with respect to responsive screen. So if the image has the same pixel, it may tend to break. So in that way, you need to handle that all things efficiently in a responsive way, like we do in the flex, same way we do in the grid.